Look, I always tell y'all when kids get involved, that happy-go-lucky life is not gonna be the same. It's not gonna be the
But
same.
everything that I've seen, she's spoken very highly of their marriage and of him. So
Yeah,
that's what makes me ponder, really, why?
but she looks like one of those women who gives 150% to motherhood and maybe neglects, and maybe it's not the same relationship that they once had. Maybe.
Well,
But she spoke. She doesn't speak to it like that. Like, I mean, if you've heard some of her like interviews and things when she's talking about him, it doesn't come across as that. Not to say that she doesn't do it, but it doesn't come across as that.
So, like, I hear what you're saying, but their child is only a year old and they've already been separated. So, like, is it really the baby? Is it really that, like,
Well, maybe
she's prioritizing motherhood?
Well, as I was saying earlier, she for years she said she didn't even want children.
So he probably thought that she didn't want kids, and he probably didn't want kids.
So
And
in her
so
first marriage, she didn't want for the long. She said she never wanted children. She was okay with that, but her husband wanted children, and he ended up cheating on her and getting another woman pregnant, which is now his wife. And so now here with Jeezy, I guess she wanted a baby, but she originally didn't want any at all.
You're
So
right.
she did
I remember
speak about that, right? She did say that, like, in being with Jeezy, she realized that that was not the man that she wanted children with. And before they had their child, she was like, I could see myself having a child with Jeezy, right? So I don't know that that's the situation, right?
AP, you know anything about this relationship?
Maybe she's
Bro,
a
I'm
baby
reading it. I'm letting the ladies talk as I read.
Maybe she's a
Because-
mommy
You see
Zilla.
how
Because
you
look,
know educated they are on the subject. They done read the cliff notes, the thesaurus.
You know
what
what?
I'm saying?
There's
And
a
wrote a
such
couple of
thing-
books.
Look, there's a such thing as a bridezilla. There is a such thing as a motherzilla. Like they turn into a different person when they become a parent, so to speak. Have you seen that? Like my girlfriend, she's one. And I told her in the hospital, I said, you're like bridezilla for pregnant women. Like you're just like you're so bad. I'm about to go right now. Like I don't even like you right now. So I'm gonna leave the hospital and I'll come back when you feel a little bit better.
I honestly don't think it had nothing to do with their child. I just don't think they were a good match from the beginning. I think when you're older, you feel like your options are limited, and that was just the right time, right place, and it was a great situation for that moment. But for all that to happen in such a short period of time, I don't believe it was as real as they thought it was. I think they were in the honeymoon phase for a minute, and the minute's over now.
Yeah.
Do you think he ever really loved her, or it was a situation in which it was, I don't know, maybe convenient?
I think
I
it
don't
was a
know.
situation. I don't even think it was about convenience because I mean they're celebrities; they can do whatever. But I just think it was just the right moment, the right time, and this person fit what I'm looking for in this moment. But it was nothing for longevity. I don't think it was nothing with some substance. I think it was all surface. Yeah, yeah. I think it was just all surface.
So she was probably into him more than he was into her.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, her divorce was public, and she was completely embarrassed about that. And everything that came with it. So, to find a guy who's interested in me and, she probably was on cloud nine and just did whatever with him.
So if I may, one of her quotes is, I never really truly felt safe. And of course that has to do with things that happened when I was younger. But when you know what feeling unsafe is like, that becomes your world. And I recognize that when I got with Jeezy, and he made me feel safe.
She was like, "I got the snowman." Yeah.
Now,
I think, like you just said, I think it was a situation where she felt something she had never felt before, and felt some kind of quick love, and he never felt that. But kind of like the conversation we were having last week, when men don't go after their children, he's going after full custody of his kid.
Mm-hmm. This is
I'm reading it.
This is my thing. Oh, go ahead. See, he's going for joint custody, right?
No,
Yes.
I'm reading it.
Joint.
He's going for full custody of his kid. I'm
So
literally reading it right now.
So this okay. So I have a question. This is the thing. Jeezy, I was going to say his real name. Jeezy has been in no, because that J is not his real name. I know his real name. Jeezy has been in several relationships, strong, long-term relationships, one in which I know personally. Okay. And it just amazes me that this is the person he decided to marry. And he has some pretty decent women who were like those women who would just, you know what I'm saying, go to bat for you. And he chose.
But what makes you think she wouldn't go to bat for him?
Real
What I'm
quick,
saying to you is it was so easy for her. I don't know. I don't think that they dated for super long time. These are people who for a minute they were dating.
Oh.
But go ahead, Enos.
Enos is actually right on that point. He's seeking joint custody and physical custody, whatever that looks like.
Mm.
So it's like a 50-50.
Joint custody, and then physical custody means that the child would live with him in his house.
So here's the thing, right? Like, I hear what you're saying, Shan, but isn't the thing that we hear as women all the time is when a man is ready, when a man knows, when a man wants to, like, this is the rhetoric that we get all the time, right? So is it really surprising? Because she didn't pressure him. She just got out of divorce herself, right? So, like,
we also hear, unless it's somebody who's not black, I mean, to just jump right on into it. I was like, that was a joke, y'all. It's a joke.
Unless she's not black, you said?
And then you just jump right in. All of a sudden, you're ready.
So there's that.
But he wasn't.
But so I'm not sure what to think of this because I saw this news too, and I'm not really sure. But the one thing that popped into my mind is like the statistic about black men in divorce, right? Black men and their divorce rates don't seem to change whether it's with a black woman or a non-black woman. So, like, I don't know. There's like this underlying question of like, what is it about marriage that just like seems to be more challenging for black men?
Well, what statistic? Because I remember a few shows ago, like I think this was in our early year, that one of the studies we came across is that when black men marry interracially, that their rates of divorce go higher versus them being married to black women.
Yeah, it did.
I just think that overwhelmingly black men love black women, and sometimes you, as a man or a black man, a lot of people will tell you that other women act differently than black women. But when you meet other women, you find out they act similar to black women. And then you're just like, well, I'm just going to go after what I want. I think that plays a part in some.
So I think that somebody may have said something was, seems like when black men marry out, it lasts longer. No.
Not based on the stat.
That is a real stat. It is the work. It's higher divorce rates than when they marry black women. That is a fact.
Right. When they marry out, they have higher divorce rates statistically. They statistically their marriages last longer with black women than they do when they marry interracially.
And ironically, black women, when they marry white men, their marriages is the most successful. Even when you have two white people together, their marriage is more successful than two white people together. When a black woman marries a white man, nobody wants to hear that, but that's
is it possible?
That's what they say.
That we can go a little deep about that as far as why that is.
Why? That's why we're here.
Well, I think for two reasons. One, I see a lot of white men seem a lot more agreeable to what people would say the antics of black women.
They are.
And the other one is it might potentially be that they are used to. You ever seen the movie Django?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the dynamics of the South, right? As far as, slave master and stuff like that. And you ever see Django? She was like, "Yes, Big Daddy." You know, no other no other man was getting Big Daddy, but the slave master. So this might be completely off, but
It's
I
not.
don't think
It's not because she's calling him Big Daddy. It's not that.
I think you're completely off.
But I do agree that I would say that some white men who don't really have a problem with women being strong-minded, okay? They actually kind of, whereas it's kind of looked down upon. White men don't really have a problem with that, so to speak. They don't want ratchet now. Don't get not ratchet, but strong-minded. They don't have a problem with that.
Is everybody from the South? Okay, so I've lived in the South for a few years now. I've noticed that in the South, you almost got to have a lane as a woman. There is a lane, and if you go outside of the lane, then a lot of black women, I ain't gonna say a lot of them, the ones that I've experienced, they're not too fond of that.
Who's not too fond of it?
The black men that I've experienced down in the South. It's more so like, so when you said that being with a white man, you're more liable to speak your mind, and they can support you and not support you. You can have a reasonable conversation and not be where you're out of pocket. But in the South, what I've experienced is you're a woman, this is your lane, and you stay in that lane.
Well, yeah. So I get what, because I'm from the South, too, from Alabama. So I understand I completely understand what you're saying. But look at it this way. Let's take the South out of it. We often talk about feminists, right? Feminism is the reason why women, we are the way that we are. Who marries feminists? Who are the first feminists? White, right? And they're all married to who? Mm-hmm. Karen has a husband. And Bob is back there like, that's my wife. You know what I'm saying? So these outspoken women, they get married when they are white, because white men don't care about that. They will marry the outspoken chick. They just don't. I don't know why they don't. I wish we had one on the panel, but y'all told me I couldn't bring one up.
Hold on, it's your show. You can bring whoever you want on your show.
No. you are not here when the chat made it very clear. If I bring a white man on this panel,
but you're gonna end up getting his feelings hurt.
The chat and a couple of the panelists.
Yeah.
But to that, I think, and this is no shade to black men, but I do think that a lot of black men feel like they don't have power, and the only power they have in most cases is in that area. So it's kind of like, not shut up, but like let me lead. But sometimes I don't even think a lot of black men know what leadership is.
Oh,
I don't think a lot of people know what leadership is.
I'm gonna be honest. Because I'm letting somebody else talk, because I feel like I'm saying too much.
No, you're good. I'm just saying you just gonna spark a controversy.
I truly don't think. I don't. Again, maybe it's just from my own personal experience being in the South. I don't know. It's completely different from where I'm from.
Now, where are you from?
I'm originally from St. Louis, and we talk back. And when I say talk back, I don't mean we're not disrespectful, but if you say something that doesn't make sense, I'm going to challenge you to make it make sense. I'm not going to sit there and just accept what you're saying to me, because it doesn't make sense. And I've experienced down here in the South, oh no, you hush your mouth, and I can't conform to that personally.
Where in the South are you now?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Girl, that ain't the South.
That is the South.
Especially
to a Northerner.
So a Southerner would not consider it. We consider that y'all borderline booze. South to us is like Georgia,
Florida,
Atlanta.
I used to live in Alabama,
Mississippi.
That's
Texas.
the deep South.
Right.
Once you pass the Mason Dixon line,
you are the Southerners. Now, I'm not knocking anybody from Charlotte. I'm just saying, you're in Charlotte, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're in a major city. That ain't South. You ain't been to the South until you've been to the South.
I lived in Alabama for a while.
Oh, so now you've been in the South.
Yeah.
See, from the North though, Maryland down is the South for us.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is, she's the South, but it's going to be very, just like Atlanta, it's going to be a very different thought process from somebody who lives in Atlanta and she's in Charlotte than somebody who lives, let's just say, in LaGrange.